I'm showing exactly 12 o'clock. I'm sure we'll have more people joining, but I do want to make sure that I give you a full 30 minutes, Chris, since I do have such a hard stop at 12:30 today.
Sure.
So for those of you that are on, welcome to today's Tech Huddle. Our presenter is Chris Myers with ReAbility. I'm excited to see what you've done, Chris, and I'll turn it over to you. If you have any questions, throw it in the chat, and I'll get those into Chris.
Thank you, Dustin. Thank you all. I'm going to share some, hope it's some very interesting ideas about how to help the special needs community going forward, both children to adults. And for the folks that are from the Tennessee area, this really pertains to you because I am in the Memphis, Tennessee area. I'm in Collierville, Tennessee, one of the suburbs of Memphis. And this platform is, first phase is for the Memphis area, but we have great plans to do some additional things. So the platform is called ReAbility, purposely because it's about what can this population do to further help themselves from a cognitive standpoint, but also for jobs and programs, really thinking of the positive energy that can come from helping this population. So that's why it's called ReAbility. A little bit of background about me, real quickly. I've got lots of experience. Obviously, I've been around a little bit. You can't see all the gray hair that I have, but I do have some. I'm currently a marketing strategic consultant here in Collierville. I primarily work with small businesses, nonprofits, and startups. I'm also an adjunct marketing professor at one of the local universities here in Memphis. These organizations, none of you probably would know who they are, but basically they're predominantly focused on people with autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, et cetera. So most are still in existence. A couple of them have gone by the wayside. I am a dad, so I fully understand the world of being a father and a husband and whatnot. I have a special needs son, Taylor, and I am an advocate and creator of this platform that you'll hear a little bit more about. And when I'm not doing that, I'm also a 3-time author, including Taylor's Way. It's about my relationship with my son, Taylor. It came out years ago. I'm actually working on a 4th book. I'm a huge James Bond fan, and I love political intrigue. So that's a quick little 1-2 minutes about me. So as I thought about this idea, Dustin opened with, in the Memphis area, there are about 130,000 folks who have some form of special needs, over 1 million across our state, and over 60 million across the U.S. So that's about 1 in every 5 folks have some form of special needs, from dyslexia to cerebral palsy to autism and everything in between. By a lot of estimates, the rate of autism is now increasing. The numbers I saw recently is about 1 in 54. Sadly, that number is going up. When Taylor was diagnosed in 1992, that number was 1 in 2,500. So it's increased 50-fold in a span of about 28 years. I don't know what states you guys live in, but my state here in Tennessee, we're strapped for resources, both people and money. Allocations very fragmented. You know, addressing this problem of how do you provide support to this population? How do you help them find jobs? How do you find the right programs and things that are pertinent and specific to them? You know, nobody really knew how to do it. It's just kind of a fragmented, array of different ideas, but nobody could bring those ideas together. So, and frankly, nobody made it a top priority in the government. So parents, and again, maybe some of you are parents on this call, agencies and advocates have been working hard to find solutions, but again, there really wasn't anything available as far as I could tell. So what's the problem? You know, technology, we love technology. We're on a technology huddle. It's a great provider and solver of many problems, but it's not always a solution. You know, parents here are changing priorities at the federal level. The problem is it's not really communicated particularly well. There's a consistency challenge here. Individuals don't have a consistent information resource. And as I tell the story, Google is a wonderful platform, Bing, whatever it is that you use as a search engine. The problem is it's not personalized and it's not customized. Parents and families are very stressed, especially now with the COVID-19 upon all of us here in the United States and across the globe. In a bad economic situation, there's a lot of separation in families and even divorce. So there's a lot of, sounds like a lot of doom and gloom. So our community needed something new and different. And so I had this idea, what's going to be the response, right? How do we help? So to Dustin's point, years ago, I literally had an idea on the back of a napkin. It was, how can we build a platform in real time that folks can access information built to their personal preferences in their personal profile that could basically help them understand what's in front of them. As a parent of a 29-year-old, my son has very low functioning capabilities. So what are the programs out there that would fit his needs? I could Google all day long. The problem is Google's only going to have information that's being, submitted, and there's a ranking in the whole process with Google. The challenge is many of those programs don't apply to Taylor. So I needed something that would work for him and everybody like him. So the thought occurred to me again, with the help of a couple of folks kind of shaping the idea. And a couple of years ago, that included Dustin, to how do you provide something in real time that has a personal profile that you could apply your preferences, your interests, and because of security issues we all face every single day, somebody trying to hack into our emails or God forbid our social security number or something else, it needed to be password protected and encrypted to the highest level possible. So that's what ReAbility is, in a grand kind of view. So let me give you a quick history. So I'm a marketer by trade. So one of the things I knew I needed to do to validate this concept is to do quantitative research, which I did with these 4 agencies that are listed here on bullet 1. The second bullet, we noted that there were about 200 people who completed the survey across our state, from Memphis to Nashville, our state capital, to Chattanooga and Knoxville in the eastern part of the state. 81% said they really liked the idea. 2/3 said they were even willing to pay some dollars basically to get a customized ReAbility plan, which was really important. I got funding with the help of another organization called Memphis Area Legal Services. They were deemed the project manager. I was a consultant. Unfortunately, the chosen technology and the person who was running it just didn't really meet the demands of the customers and the clients here in the area. And unfortunately, the pilot was discontinued. But I didn't give up because I knew this was a really good idea. So I pursued some other options. Finally, about 1.5 years ago, I found a new partner, literally from the web, an organization called Dreamscape Foundation. Their director is Joe Sawani, who himself has special needs. They're based in Naples, Florida. And Joe, you can see what their 3 major goals are. Basically providing independence, striving to provide knowledge and resources with sensory impairment for folks through assistive technology, and then trying to find some resource and grants to help folks find the funds they need for various disabilities and disease. Terrific young man, very passionate about helping the community. He and I then put out an RFP to get an organization based in New Delhi, India, called ISK Pro, that actually built the platform. And off we were running. Starting about 1 year ago, we started going on ReAbility. This is a great photo of them. The young man in the dark blue shirt there with a big smile on his face and the shorts right in the middle there, that's Joe, and that's his team. They're a terrific young group of folks, and as I said, very passionate about doing some cool stuff. So here's ReAbility. These are some good screenshots. Basically, it's redefine your abilities today and find your resource. So what a person who wanted to come into the site basically would say, what are you looking for? And then you would list out your disability, and then you would provide a search. From there, basically, you log in and register. You can see on the left-hand part of the screen, it's your first name, your email address, etc. You put in a password, your phone number, some other pertinent information, and then you officially register. We obviously want you to become a subscriber, and I'll explain why that is in just a minute. So what this has basically is all the information. The about me is about the individual with special needs. What is that person's personal interest? My uploads, that could be documents that are pertinent. In my case, for my son, maybe it's his medical records. Maybe it's his records from the school system when he was still in school. Maybe it's other information that's really important to know what currently is going on in his world. But most importantly, what are his real interests? In the case of my son, he loves to play with balls. So maybe there's, I'm making this up, a basketball camp at a place an hour away from us here in the area. We would sign him up based on a profile that would hit in his information that he has a basketball camp close by. And so that camp would then, something we would register him for. He would go to the camp, we would get information. The information then gets uploaded back into his personal profile. And so if another camp comes up, let's say 6 months from now, in the same area or a different area, we can use that as some feedback to say, hey, we think Taylor went to a camp 6 months ago. I wonder how it went. And you would already have that information. So instead of always having to Google and always having to search for those things, you already have one example, one data point of a personal interest for him that already exists that's back in his profile. And then here again, some other things. So I would put in this case on the left where it says my interest could be, I'm interested for him in basketball camps. I'm interested in singing and dancing. I'm interested in maybe he likes to socialize. For the higher functioning folks, children to adults, the addition of the socialization function is going to be really important because we know that's really critical. Like we all like to do, we want to connect with other people, you know, friends, neighbors, you know, family members, etc. So this population, you know, is certainly the same. So that's where you include some information there. And then on the right-hand side, you would include your preferences. The documents list, as I mentioned, that could be medical records. That could also be, let's say there's information about a conservatorship that perhaps his parents might be interested in, or it could be about a special needs trust, or it could be about some other thing that might make sense to him personally or for his welfare, and that's what you would include here. And this list is almost inexhaustible. You could literally key in dozens, if not hundreds of different documents. The space requirements are fairly strong. We do not, this is available on, you could access this site from your smartphone, but we don't have it on an app yet. I know I've gotten a lot of requests for that the last couple of months. It's in the works. I can't tell you when it's going to be ready. Hopefully later this fall. Part of the challenge is going to be just making sure that what we have out there today is working, that people are interacting with it, they're logging in, they're registering. And then as you'll see here in this next slide, next couple of slides, we want to make sure that we're getting the outcomes that not only we want, but also the community wants. So we want to make sure that people are connecting, you know, the individuals, the caregivers, all the folks who really want to be a part of this opportunity for that individual with special needs. They all understand the technology and are using it appropriately. As I mentioned about the social interaction, that's really critical because it's really difficult for this population to make friends, to make contacts, etc. We do want to make sure that the mechanism to receive and disseminate information is good and clean, as I talk about it in real time. That the technology is offered, and you're seeing this presentation on my PC, I'm sorry, on my laptop, but it's available on your PC, your tablet, and again, with an app coming, it'll be available on your smartphone, and we know that's an important part of the solution. And then the ultimate objective of this, folks, is basically ReAbility was built in my head basically to provide ways to improve the quality of life. If we can provide better quantifiable information that can help reduce obesity, which is really a major problem with this population, lethargy and loneliness, if we can help with those things by providing very specific, personalized, customized solutions of information for this population, about jobs and activities, et cetera, then honestly, I've done my job and I feel good about, you know, my contribution to that. Because the information that we are constantly changing and tweaking, et cetera, honestly, with a consultant on board isn't cheap. We do have a small fee that we ask people to pay. They get the first 30 days are free, but then when they upload documents into storage, we do have some, you know, an extensive amount of space, but it's not completely unlimited, you know, forever and ever. So that information changes, you know, almost on a daily basis. So we do ask a small a fee. It's about $5 a month for our basic plan. And then for those who really want to add a lot more information, a lot more storage into their profile, into their system and whatnot, then basically you can pay a little bit more, or you would pay a little bit more. You do get a discount if you pay all up front. But the goal here, this isn't about making money. So let me be clear. Yes, the foundation is not for profit. This is basically to cover costs. You know, we just need to make sure that we're doing all that we can to help this population and their families. But we also have to be smart because this foundation, like most, has a board of directors, and they need to make sure they're investing in a project that will basically pay for itself. So that's why people ask me, it's like, why are you charging people to have this information? I'm charging people to make sure that, again, that we zero our expenses out, then we're doing the right thing from a financial standpoint. And in a nutshell, I'm not sure how long that took, Dustin, but in a nutshell, that's what ReAbility is. There's a great opportunity to expand. I've done a lot of public relations and other interviews and whatnot over the last month or so. It's only been in existence out there in the market for a month. But if you have questions, I don't know if we got any questions during that quick little review, but here's my information. You're more than welcome to email me or call me directly, text me, whichever. If you want to find out more about Dreamscape Foundation, I've included their information as well. You can also, if you go to info@dreamscapefoundation.org, you can also find more information about ReAbility, you know, a little more information about the history, et cetera, more information about some of the different programs and whatnot. But the goal basically going forward is we're going to keep adding and enhancing. It's not just we're done and that's it. It's as we get feedback from people using the site, as they interact with the different components, we hope that people will, you know, share the love, if you will, with others, and they get more people on. The more things that we do, hopefully the better this becomes. And our one final thing, our goal is, again, for the people in Tennessee, hopefully you're going to love this, but it's meant for, quite frankly, to go nationwide at some point. Maybe by the end of next year, we hope to be nationwide. That's our goal.
That was the question that came in, was when are your expansion plans? So
yeah, we're looking at them right now. As a matter of fact, this is early August, so we're getting some good traction here in the Memphis area. So as a matter of fact, I have a call set up hopefully later this week with Joe and his team to talk about that very question. I certainly would love to go. You know me, Dustin, well enough. I'm kind of the go person, so I would love, you know, to at least be in the region, meaning the southern region, by the early part of 21, and then obviously expand from there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Chris. You got through that very quickly.
Yeah, so I don't know what time it is, but if you got a couple minutes, I'm happy to answer any questions people may have.
Yeah, please, for those of you that are in the audience, please feel free to throw your questions in the chat. Chris, how are you going to build out the resources in those other areas outside of that area? What's the plan there?
Yeah, so it's that's a great question. So this is phase one, meaning we used the top 4 agencies in the Memphis area to build this first component. But the goal is to, at the next stage, is to include every available agency here in the area, and then the folks at Dreamscape have the resources to do that. So they have the financial backing to be able to add the necessary components to make this thing bigger and better. They do. Right. So they're ready to go, and you know, they just want to see some traction. I mean, again, as I mentioned, about the costing, it's not a matter of trying to make money. It's a matter of just basically trying to recoup your costs. Sure. So we just want this out there because in the stress that we're all dealing with, and I don't know if anybody asked or was thinking about asking the question, you know, Chris, why did you guys launch now in the middle of a viral pandemic, et cetera? Honestly, because there's so much stress out there, you know, we thought this would be a really positive thing to do. A lot of people seem to like that. Yeah. You know, it's something positive to look forward to instead of worrying about the numbers and all this stuff, and that's really depressing. Maybe we could have something positive for these folks as they think about things.
Actually, I was reading something the other day about innovation during situations like this, and it's actually an ideal time to launch based on what they were saying. So good for you. I'm glad you did it. Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it. Anybody else? Absolutely. Quickly throw questions in there. Again, this was recorded, so if you're watching this on the recording, please feel free to reach out to Chris. You can see all of his contact information on the screen there. Just hit pause real quick and you can copy it down. Thank you, Chris. Excited to see your progress and moving forward. I knew you would. So thanks for spending some time and showing us what you've put together so far. Excited to see where it goes.
Well, my pleasure, Dustin. Always great to see you. And again, if anybody has any questions, let me know. And hopefully ReAbility will be, you know, coming your way in not too distant future.
Okay. We have comments. Thank you. So I second that.
Thank you. Chris. Yeah, take care of those girls.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next Tuesday for another Tech Huddle. Thanks, Chris.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.